and welcome. You are listening to At Home with Ifenu. Here, we'll talk about helping women know and understand their worth, find fulfillment in who they are, and in what they do. Every other week, we'll talk about your identity as a woman, discovering your unique purpose, intentionally raising the next generation, and your influence in homemaking. I am your host, Ifoma Nneka Omoni.
Hello, and welcome to At Home with Ifeno. Wow, how are you today? What a great day it is. So I welcome you and I say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is, wherever you are in the world. I welcome you specially. It's going to be a great day, or it's already a great day wherever you are. And it promises to be rewarding today. I have an amazing guest with me. I'm not alone. So I want you to feel at home. Take that comfortable spot, or if you are driving, just give us your listening attention. It promises to leave you with a lot of aha moments. You are going to hear something you've never thought you could hear today. I promise you that. But before we go into today's topic and my introducing my guest, I just want to tell you that whatever you might be going through, yes, the world is going through a lot wherever you are. So many discomforts, disruptions. But you know what? All these shakings and rumblings are actually for our growth. So if you are going to grow, then get ready for disruptions. Yes, I said that. If you are going to improve, if this year is going to be better than it was last year for you, get ready for some shaking. And I can tell you that today's topic is going to shake you to your foundations, but you will be glad you listened to it. So thank you once again for tuning in to At Home with Ifenu. So back to my guest. I have an awesome guest. She's a wonderful woman. She has a passion for wealth creation. Yes, anytime you hear money, we know that many of you are glad to hear that we can make more money and we can do a lot, to bring resources. So my guest is a wonderful woman. She's passionate about wealth creation. She also has a podcast, interestingly. She's an author. Let me just tell you her name, and then I think she will be a better person to introduce herself. Her name is Mrs. Omowunmi Olajide. Let's give her an At Home with Ifeno welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much. For having me today.
Of course,
I'm at home with you already. So thank you. Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you for taking the time out from your busy schedule. And I know that you have a lot that we're going to be learning from. It promises to be an awesome day. So I'd like you to introduce yourself to our guest. I want you to tell our guest who you are. When they hear the name Omowunmi Olajide, what do you want our listeners to remember about you? Who is Omowunmi Olajide?
Great, absolutely. As you've said, my name is Omowunmi Olajide, and I usually say I am a girl after God's heart. I'm given to service to God and humanity, a life of service to God and humanity. I'm a mother, a wife, of course, a wife first, a wife, a mother, and I've been an IT professional for about 18 years now, and I've delved into being a serial investor, an entrepreneur, and a life and mindset coach. The current platform that I co-hosted with my husband, Posterity for Posterity Network, is a platform where we work with kingdom-minded individuals, and they have their members, right? And they have access to coaching and mentorship on business and investment opportunities. They have access to pool of service providers, like those that are interested in real estate. They have access to real estate firms, real estate agents, and property managers. And then those that are interested in farming, they have access to, reliable farm managers and all of those things. And even beyond that, investment in other, even digital investments as well. And in addition to that, I co-host a weekly virtual prayer meeting with one of my childhood friends. He's a pastor with the Living Faith Church worldwide, Pastor John Nicholas, and we hold that every Monday. And that prayer meeting is meant for kingdom entrepreneurs, and it's called IKEPT, International Kingdom Entrepreneur Prayer Time. As Ifeno mentioned earlier, I host podcasts, actually 2 of them. One is a daily devotional, like a devotional part of it, and the other is about prosperity for posterity, topics around that in general. And I brought a gift for your guest today, Ifeno, and that is, yes, I put together, like I have a collection of those devotional. And in an ebook, where they can have access to 30 days worth of devotion. So I brought that to your listeners today, and they will have access to that for free of charge at this time. So that
wow. We've not even started and we're already receiving gifts, financial benefits. Wow, thank you so much, my wonderful guest. It wasn't really an accident bringing you here. We've started enjoying the Okay, so thank you for that introduction. Is there anything that you really like to do to relax? Because with all this you have said, it's not easy to be, empowering entrepreneurs, teaching them about how to multiply their money and things like that. So at your relaxed mode, what do you really do to ease off the tension or the stress from 1 or 2 things you are doing back at home? Because I know that the children to give you extra work to do.
To relax, really, I'm an indoor person, okay? And when we talk about having to be outdoors and picking up recreations, it's one of my goals this year, so I'm working on that. But for right now, leave me in the in my abode, give me a very nice music to listen and dance to. I am all good. And of course, when your work is your, what will I say, when you work in something that is a life mission, it doesn't look like a work for you. More like if your work is your purpose in life. So it's just like, you derive the satisfaction, you derive, that accomplishment and that relaxation, even when you begin to see how the people you're working with are progressing, how your business is growing and things like that. So definitely with all of this is something that, I derive pleasure in, and that gives me relaxation enough.
So the one I will pick is that Omowunmi likes relaxing with good music, and she dances.
Yes,
okay, so
I do.
I've gotten that. Okay, so today, our topic for today is financial wisdom for your home. Financial wisdom for your home. We are at a time in the world where a lot of things are going on concerning people's career. Some people have lost their jobs since this particular decade. 2020 came in with COVID, and there was a lot of shifts. Some people have still not recovered from what happened about 3 years ago.
Right.
And we know the importance of money and finance to our home. So today, we are trusting that God will use you to speak financial wisdom to every listener's home. But before you delve into it properly, I would like to start with this question. What is prosperity from your experience, and what you believe is God's perspective? Many of us usually see a particular thing in a particular way, maybe based on our upbringing or our personal experience. But from your own experience as our guest today, what is prosperity, and what is God's perspective about prosperity?
Excellent. That is an excellent question. And I particularly love, the topic we're dealing with today, financial wisdom for your home. That is very, very crucial. And when we talk about prosperity, from my experience, from what I've learned and what I've lived, and then from God's perspective, it's common, for people to think prosperity only means financial success, whereas prosperity is actually succeeding in all areas of life. Now, have you ever seen, an individual that on the surface, if you look at their net worth, or if you look at their, on the surface in public, you feel like, okay, this is a prosperous person, or this is a wealthy person, or this is a well-to-do person. Some of those people, you see them as celebrities, people of high caliber and things like that. But some of them, I think this happened year in, year out. Some of them, you just hear they committed suicide. And you wonder, this person is so rich, they have all that they need. So what is the problem? So that proves the point that prosperity is not just financial success. So prosperity is succeeding in all areas of life, and those areas encompasses, your relationships. Relational prosperity, your relationship with God, your relationship with your fellow humans, in your marriage, in your career, your friendships. How are those? How are you relating with other people? Are you in a healthy relationship? And then we're talking about health-wise as well. In your health, how is your health prospering? So talking about, bodily prosperity and mind prosperity. Your mental health is essential when we talk about prosperity. And then we come to, fulfilling one's purpose. So beyond financial prosperity, beyond bodily prosperity and bodily and mind prosperity, beyond your health, your health and relationship prosperity, we have to look at the totality of your purpose. Because what is success? Because don't forget, I said prosperity is succeeding in all areas of life. Now, bringing in God's perspective now. So what is success? We see in Joshua 1:8, when God told Joshua, right, that in studying and understanding the law that governs prosperity, the law, that is the book of the law, right? Understanding that, by that and living according to it, by that you make your ways prosperous and you will have good success. Now, that tells us there is bad success, right? So there are some people, if you live your life, I'm still talking on fulfilling one's life purpose, that is part of prosperity. There are some people that might succeed on a venture, but is that their life purpose? Right? If somebody is succeeding at something that they are not meant to be doing in the first place, that is not success. That is what gets people to the point of dissatisfaction with life. That is what gets them to, though they have the financial wherewithal, they have other things, they have their family, their relationships, but they still cannot feel fulfilled. They still don't feel fulfilled. So prosperity is all encompassing, and from God's perspective, we know that it is God's desire for us to prosper. We see that in 3 John verse 2. He says, I wish above all things that you prosper and be in health, just as your soul prosperity. So we can see that soul prosperity, that is your relationship with God, is the core of the rest of the prosperity, the rest of the all other areas of your life that you are supposed to prosper in. And God delights in the prosperity of his children. So I'm going to stop there.
Wow. So prosperity is not just about having a very fat bank account, anything I want to buy, or I want to take a trip to Dubai this morning, I just get on the plane, my private jet. It's beyond that. That's what Mr. Mom is telling us today. Wow. Absolutely. It's a holistic experience. And there was something she started with. She said, first of all, our relationship with God, then our relationships with others. That is what starts this prosperity we are talking about. She also said that there is a way that we need to follow for us to even be financially prosperous. There is a way. I know there is more coming, but that definition of prosperity, success, used interchangeably, is very, very key and foundational. Thank you very much for that answer. So the next question is, why is finance a critical part of our lives, especially in homes? There's a notion. I know this notion is not biblical, though. It's not from the Bible. But there's a notion. I've heard people in time past say, if there is no money, if there's no finance, there's no romance in the marriage. So you see that people are like, if there is no money, the marriage cannot be sweet. Money is very, very key. I agree with it that finance is really very critical. But from your own experience and what you have come to understand or observed, maybe from those you have worked with, why is finance a critical part of our homes, our marriage? What do you think?
Very good question. And that notion that no money, no romance, no finance, no romance, I would say it's true to an extent. And one can argue it as well that it's a cop-out. It's a way to just give yourself an excuse not to do what you need to do when it comes to romance, right? Not money. Money is not everything, right?
Yes.
But let's look at it. Finance, why is finance critical part of our lives, especially in marriage and homes? If we look at what we need for day-to-day sustenance, food, shelter, a good home, right? Clothing on our backs, good school for our children, having good cars to drive, living in a good neighborhood, in a safe, secure neighborhood. What would you use to secure those things? Money. Money is what is required to meet our basic needs, right? And I love this this scripture in Ecclesiastes chapter 10 verse 19, talking about money answers everything, right? That money is definitely, money is not everything, but money answers. That's the main point there. That in homes, if the home or members of that household, like the husband and the wife, and even extending to the children, right? If they are the financial literacy, if it's not at least at an average level, at a level that can sustain them, then they will get themselves in a lot of trouble. Right? Because there needs to be effective financial management. one of the things that we've known, and it's evident around us, when you are not a good steward of money, money moves away from you. And we can see that in the scriptures on the parable of the talents. The Bible says at the tail end of that parable, Jesus said, that to him that has more will be given. So him that knows, that was able to effectively manage what they have, more money will come to them. But if there is no effective financial management in place, where maybe the woman is always bring, spending, and the man is always maybe very carefree about where they invest their money in, and they just puts money in all kinds of investment that loses them money. At the end of the day, they will find themselves struggling. So there has to be an understanding of effective financial management so that they can be financially stable. And with that is proper planning. There has to be healthy communication as well. Where are we making money from? Right? And what is the purpose of this money? What are we spending this money on? So having a healthy communication around finances and having an agreed upon common goals, on how to spend the money. Number one is going to reduce stress, right? It's going to help one to have a future minded plan in place, that where you're going. Both of you understand what your short-term goals are. You both understand what your financial long-term goals are, and you're working towards it to be able to make it happen. Now, when you are able to understand we're saving this money for this particular purpose, of course, you will be able to now say, okay, this is what we're using for right now to, maybe deprive ourselves of some lavish, celebration in order to meet that goal. Your wife will understand that as a man. Other than, instead of you just saying, I have some projects I'm working on, so I can't give you all the money you're asking for, right? But when she understands, when the wife understands what the husband is working on, what they're planning, and they're doing it together, then that communication helps to lessen the friction that comes around money. And of course, just like when God, if we look at biblical example of prosperity, we see that in the life of Abraham. And God said about Abraham that he was so certain of him that he will teach his children and children's children about these laws, the principles of the kingdom. Right. So also for us, and that is part of where prosperity for posterity comes in, that all that we do when it comes to living our life in connection with God and being prosperous, being prosperous in all areas of life, when it comes to purpose, health, and all of that, we have to teach the next generation. So everybody in the household understand what the financial goal is. So when they are needing one thing or the other, they understand where, this is our focus this time. And I can, cut back on this or go for more ways to make more money so we can continue to, have everything we have. So in a nutshell, finance is critical in marriage because number one, money answers a lot of things, right? It's required to meet our basic needs. And if one do not manage it well, more of it will not come. God will not give you more, because if you are not a good steward of something that is yours, who is going to commit more to you, right? Who is going to give you more responsibility or more resources if you cannot manage the one you have? So financial, good and solid financial management and financial literacy is very, very important for every member of the household.
Wow, she said every member, and and she said something that you should even get your children involved. Right. So, for example, your daughter or your son comes back and say, "Mommy, you need to see the party. You need to see what my classmates brought as party pack. Oh my God, the party was something else." And as a mother, you already know that you are on a building project, or that so many things are going on financially. You just have to sit the children to explain. Don't say the children are too young. No, don't. So let them get involved. Let them see what you are doing. Let them get involved. I remember my own father too. He just brought back memories. When my father was building the house where he and my mother resides now, that time we were actually in the university, so it was a lot of pressure on him, having that kind of building project. And I think at that time, because we are three of us straight like that were in the university.
Wow.
So it was really a lot. And I remember my father calling us, for a family meeting to say, this is what is going on.
Right.
Maybe he didn't even know that he was really carrying us along, but with the little he did, it's now bringing back memories to me that, yes, Daddy did that. So he called us and said that for a period of time, some of the things that we enjoyed, we will not enjoy it like that. And there was a reason why. So he carried us along.
Exactly.
And I think our guest has just said that. So we need to carry our children along. And I can tell you that if we carry them along, they would gradually come to understand. When you show them the benefits of, delayed gratification for the good, for the purpose ahead, for us to achieve that goal, then you will find out that your children or even your spouse will not just be bringing requests, just at random, and because we have been communicating properly, proper communication, and then that financial literacy will be there. Thank you so much. I believe this will be a very good point for us to pick on in our homes. So everybody needs to be carried along. And as spouses, Mrs. Omowunmi is telling us that we need to be open. We need to have that openness and common goals for our finances. So there is no hide and seek game. so that it will reduce the friction. So we are not guessing that but you have money, why are you hiding it? So we should carry ourselves along to have that proper financial management and literacy. Thank you so much. I think you have answered partially. My next question was that, how do we work together to reduce that conflict and stress? So I think you've answered it by saying we need to have financial literacy, proper planning, common goals, and openness. Okay, so the next thing I would like us to discuss is about how do we draw the line? Where do we draw the line between being obsessed with acquiring more than is necessary and being satisfied with what we have? It's a very tricky question. So for example, we see that sometimes we really work so hard. Yes, we have the financial goals, we have communicated what we desire, the plans we have, and we now find out that it's like that drive is pushing us even beyond limit, that we don't even have time to communicate as a family. The children hardly see us, and all that is in our mind is that we have this target, we have this goal. How do we find a balance to make sure that we are not being obsessed and we are not pushing ourselves to that point because we are looking at somebody else's life. Because in the world we live in today, with so much on social media, you know, so we see a lot of flaunting of wealth or possession. How will our listeners be guided by wisdom to know that there is a place to draw that line, so that you don't end up losing the other prosperity? Because you have made it clear to us that prosperity is not just in the finance. So how do we make sure that our relationships don't suffer, our body, you know, many of us now start having health issues because we are pushing and grinding so hard. How do we put that balance concerning finances?
That's an excellent point. Very, very good question. So how do we ensure that we balanced our desire for money and being content, right? So that I will bring us back to that talent, the parable of the talent that Jesus shared in the scriptures, right? If we look at, I want us to look at those three servants as families, right? Those three different families. We have a family that was given capacity, that had the capacity for 5. Maybe I should say that, you know, they had capacity for 5 streams of income to be able to fund. Of course, their life will be taken care of, but to be able to fund God's agenda on the earth. I'm going to explain that in a little bit. Now, when we are created for a purpose, we all know there's a purpose for us to be here. And when we talk about marriage, I usually compare marriage to the analogy that Jesus gave when he said, who among you wants to build a house and will not sit down and count the cost and see, do I have enough to finish this project? So that at the end of the day, if he doesn't do that, midway, he'll find himself not able to complete the project and will become, a laughing stock. And then he mentioned the other one who is that king that wants to go into battle and will not first sit down and see, okay, my army, I have 5,000 to go face an opponent that has 50,000. Will I succeed? Right? If it's not God's strategy like that of a Gideon, that king knows. That king knows at the end of the day, he will be defeated. So I compare marriage to those analogy. Who amongst us should not sit down and say, just like if you're building a business, you have a mission statement, you have your goals, you have, the focus, the target that you want to accomplish for that business. I see marriage even much more important. So from the get-go, maybe speaking to, your younger audience now, those that are still contemplating marriage, before you go into that marriage, you need to understand, God, what is the purpose of this relationship in your agenda? What is the role that myself and my spouse and the family you're going to give us, what is our role in your divine agenda? Because when we understand that, then we know our capacity. We know what God is sending us to accomplish in life. And when God calls, he provides, he gives the resources to accomplish that goal. And let me interject here. to be, if we look at those three servants in that parable of the talent, the first one, he went out, traded with his own. The second one that was given to went out, traded with his own. The third one that did not trade with his own, we can see self-centeredness in him. He was not focused on, what he can accomplish for the master. He was focused on, I don't want to lose this. I don't want to, be found, be the one that will be, left out or whatever. Looking at other people, like those have more than me, because I don't have 5, so I can't use the one I have. So he did not understand that God gave him the one that he had because of the capacity that he had. So he was self-centered. He looked at his like I said, those three families. He looked at his family and was like, okay, I have a house. I have a house. I have housing. I have clothing. I have food. I'm good. Whereas God would have us even go beyond our immediate family to impact humanity. So if we don't expand our capacity, if we don't see ourselves expanding our capacity, then whatever more we are desiring, then we are desiring it to consume it on our own lust. But when we understand our capacity and expand our capacity beyond yourself, beyond your immediate family, even beyond your extended family, you know that the world needs you. You know you need to give back to that alumni body. You know you need to feed the homeless. You know you need to build a home for the for the homeless. You need to take care of the widow. You have those burning desires to do more, to be a kingdom financier, to be one that would, raise, according to Isaiah 58, it says, raise the foundation of many generations. A lot of people, a lot of things, social issues out there that God is looking for men and women that he will funnel the funds through to be able to take care of those things. But if you're self-centered, and you that one that you have, you just kept it like, okay, just my family, my friends, my family is okay, and I'm good. So you're not desiring more. I love the way one of my pastors put it. He said, God will not require of you tithe of what you are able to do. He will require of you tithe of what you are capable of doing. So not to the capacity like, okay, you're content. That comes to complacency. So when you have purpose for money that is beyond you, God will give you more because you have increased your capacity. So when you begin to desire more, it's not to consume it on your own lust. It's to fulfill God's agenda in your vicinity around you. But when you see yourself, you are acquiring more, but you don't have passion to help others, then that is the love of money. That the Bible says is the root of all evil. That is when you begin to do whatever it takes to get the money. And then you lose your life, you lose your values in pursuing that. So when you find yourself being greedy, right? Being carefree, ready to tweak numbers, not minding to give bribes, to get more money, then you're not in alignment. You're not in alignment with the purpose of God, right? So capacity, you have to enlarge your capacity. And when you know you can do more, God will release more into your hands. So being content is being grateful. Be grateful for what you have. So gratitude comes into that. Be grateful for what you have, but then be open for more. because God is able to do even more, for us. So I'll leave it there.
That one she said is for me. She was talking to me direct. So you know me, I like being very practical and sincere. She was just telling me that yes, you might be okay if I know, but God wants you to see something bigger, something beyond you.
Right.
Thank you for that. You talked about our family's capacity. I never saw those 3 talents that it has to do, like you can use it for your family. So every family is unique. There's a capacity that God has deposited, and it starts before you even get married.
Sure.
So the person you're getting married to, what is God calling you people to do? It is beyond just I'm old enough to be married, I just want to have children, and things like that. We've said it on this platform that marriage is intentional, your home is intentional. So even for your finances, there is an intent in God's heart for you, and He wants us to enlarge our capacity beyond our immediate comfort and what we think we really want. So when God sees that our motive is right, then our desire for more to fulfill His kingdom assignment will come to us. Once your vision is from God's, provision will not be an issue. Thank you so much for reminding us about that. So before you round off and leave us for today, because I'm sure I'm going to call you again.
No problem.
I'm asking for more already. So please, can you share with our listeners your online presence? What do you do? How can people connect with you on your social media handles? Do you have programs that people can sign up to? So now it's for you to tell us more about what you do online.
Absolutely. Yes. Right now, I don't have specific programs that, people can sign up to, but they can join our network, the P4P networks. And there is a link in my Instagram bio. If they go there, they have every link to reach out to me. And
I'll add your link to my show notes, so they will have access to that link.
Excellent. So they can reach out to me on, I want to be on the P4P networks. And of course, from there, we can take the conversation. What is their goal? What are they looking to? And all of that. Then from that, I'll be able to know which path to put them on and how we can work together. And on every week, like I said earlier, on every Monday, we hold prayer meetings, virtual prayer meetings for Kingdom entrepreneurs. So they can join me on the YouTube channel or on our Facebook page. So they can join on that. That usually comes on Nigerian time, West African time. That's usually at 2 p.m. on Mondays. And the podcast as well, the Prosperity for Posterity. The link is on that link in bio page as well, and they can have access to the podcast, the general one and the devotional one as well. And like I said earlier,
the one you gave us as a gift.
Yeah, the one I'm giving, of course, it's available on the podcast, but the gift that I'm bringing is the ebook. Ebook for the 30 days devotional, the 30-day devotional.
Okay, so how do we access that? You will give us the link for that?
Yes, I will do that. It's on that link in bio page as well. So when they go on there, they will see each of those links that ask them request for your ebook download.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much for
you are welcome.
And all that we have heard. So before you go, to round off our session on financial wisdom for your home, Ms. Omowunmi told us about the holistic viewpoint of hers and what she believes God's perspective is for prosperity is beyond finance. She told us about our relationships, starting with God and then to individuals, because God will use people even for you to get the finance. You
Right.
need people. He
Right.
connects us. So even on this platform now, you can listen to a guest, and that guest might be the key to your financial increase. You never know. So she has told us that there must be openness at home, common goals, proper planning, financial literacy, and this should be used to carry everyone, including our children, along. So all that she has said is telling us that we need that financial wisdom for our homes. But before she goes, I'd like her to give us 3 wisdom nuggets that we will never forget. 3 things that we keep ringing in our ears when we handle money, when opportunities for finances come, that we'll not forget. What are those 3 wisdom nuggets you are going to leave with us before you go?
Yes, amazing. It's been an amazing time. Thank you so much for having me. So if I'm going to leave anything with you, I've already mentioned 2 of them, but this particular one, the very first one, is your tithing. Tithe as a family. Tithe to God. Reason I said tithe to God is everybody tithes. So you either tithe to God or you open your finances to devourers. So you choose where you tithe. And when you tithe to God, God promised, I will not allow devourers in your finances. So that is very, very crucial. And I cover that in episode 12 on my podcast. You can listen to it. It's part 1 of the 4 spiritual laws of prosperity. So you can listen to that on my podcast. And then number 2, give your money purpose. Money answers. So what are you calling it to come and do? Right? So when you are making, at the beginning of the year, they will say, okay, we should have a vision board and things like that. That is very useful here. What do you, what are you planning for, your family project? What are the things what are you planning for your retirement? How do you intend to fund your retirement account? What are you planning for fun? Like, where do you want to vacation this year? What are you planning to, on that humanitarian project that you have? Which charity organizations are you partnering with? And what percentage of your income are you planning to dedicate to that? Right? So when you give money purpose, when those money comes, you will not be given to impulse buying. Right? And you as a man, your wife will understand this money that's coming. She cannot just be coming and say, yes, I will. Money, give me. I want to buy a baby. No, because she knows we all agreed this is the purpose for this money, right? And then of course the money from the wife as well. As you make your money, you know where those money is going to in the family project and in individual projects that you might have. So that is that give money purpose, even including fun, how to have fun with your family, vacationing, and all of those things, and how you want to invest even for your future. And then the third thing, I've mentioned it earlier, and that is being grateful. And that is where you demonstrate contentment. Right? So for that Jesus concluded that parable of the talents. Says, for everyone who has, more will be given. That is, everyone who acknowledges that they have, everyone who acknowledges and are grateful that they have. So when your go-to statement is, I don't have money, I'm broke. Right? So that is you not demonstrating contentment. right? Be grateful for what you have. If you recall the story of this widow with Elijah, when she went to Elijah, I'm a widow, and creditors are coming, they want to get my children and things. Elijah asked her, what do you have? So everybody has something. So be grateful for that which you have. As much as you are expanding your capacity to have more, for God to release more to you so that you can fulfill his agenda, be grateful for what you have. So 3 things: tithe to God. Everybody tithes. If you don't tithe to God, other things are taking the tithe away from you, or even more. When devourers come, they take more than tithe. And then 2, give your money purpose. And 3, be grateful for all that you have. That will be all for me.
Wow. I was taking notes too, and me, I've looked for a way to remember it. I call her last notes triple G. So the first one in summary is give to God. Give to God. That's the first G. Give to God. If you don't give to God, something else will collect it, and even you will just find out that your money is going. You don't even know where it's going to. And then the second one, she said, give your money purpose. Right. So where purpose is not known, abuse is inevitable. If you do not put a purpose to your finances, if there is no strategic reason for the money that you are going to make or you are expecting, anything and everything would just collect that money. So give your money purpose. That's the second G. And the third one is gratitude. Gratitude. You can never thank God enough for what he has given you. And once we thank him, once he sees that we are always grateful for what we have, he will give us more. He will see that we are ready for that increase. That we are not just complaining and murmuring and not being grateful, but he will bring more to us. Thank you so much. We can go on and on and on. Really enjoyed the time with you, and we look forward to another time again on At Home with Ifeno with you on our platform. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you, everyone. God bless you.
Thanks for joining us this week on At Home with Ifeno. Check us out on Instagram at Ifeno17. As always, subscribe to the show to catch every new episode and leave us a review so we can continue to bring you fresh content. See you next in 2 weeks' time.